Hello there, and welcome back to Warthon aboard the Karlsruhe. And where to begin with this ship? Probably with the title Asymmetrical Warfare. And should I recommend this ship? It's a difficult and tough situation. So this is why this is the last but not least of the premium cruisers to be featured. And I have obviously the Gaijin or War Thunder 10 years anniversary sales in the back of my head, and that is the reason why I cover all the premium cruisers, because at the end of October there might just be the discounts. Before we talk about this ship, I just wanted to drop a random fact, and that is that the German headquarters of Gaijin Entertainment apparently is located in the city of Karlsruhe, which is close to the French border and quite a beautiful city. So with that out of the way, again, let's talk about a rough overview of this ship. This ship looks like it has no business being at 5.7. It looks like it has no business fighting Helenas, fighting alongside the Prinz Eugen, sharing the same battle rating of 5.7, and it absolutely does not seem to be worth the money. And there are enough situations where you're absolutely right. But if you're really skilled and really good captain, if you know the game mechanics in and out, if you know how to position yourself, where to go, how to play, how to aim, and what ammunition to choose against whatever target, then the ship is really satisfying and utterly rewarding from the subjective point of view. From the objective point of view, I have to be honest, the Prinz Eugen is more reliable. The Prinz Eugen teaches you a little bit more, and in the rare cases where you need many torpedoes, like in this battle, the Prinz Eugen just simply has more. But this ship, the Karlsruhe, has just enough of everything to be diverse enough to make it work. Now let's start with one aspect, and that is the AA. And the flak is absolutely not the best part of the ship. You have the heavy AA, the 105s. They have no proximity fuse. You only have 3 twin guns, and they just don't cut it. So I use them just like on the Prinz Eugen with the AP as secondaries, but they lack a little bit the volume of fire. And then we come to the 37 millimeters, which are by far the worst 37 millimeters in the game. They are basically single shot, and you do not have the volume of them. You only have 4 twins, and they're just absolutely horrible. And while you have 8 20 millimeters, they just don't cut it. So at long range you don't pose any threat to an aircraft, and at close range very often it's too late to actually knock the enemy out of the sky with the 20s before they can launch the torpedo, drop the bomb, ram all the rockets into you in a kamikaze attack. It's just not really working. Then let's come to the torpedoes, and the 533mm G7A torpedoes are very much standard on German warships, and you have also 4 triple launchers, 2 on each side, very much like with the Prinz Eugen, with really good firing angles, but you only have the ones in the tubes and no reload like the Prinz Eugen, which has 26 and you have 12, but usually that's enough, right? And then we have to talk about the main guns, the 3 triple turrets with 15 centimeter 60 SKC 25 guns, and they are really nice. I'd wish the ship has 4 of those turrets, and it would be an absolute legend with 5 of them, I'm really convinced, but you have only 3, and you have 7.5 second reload, so you still lack the rate of fire, you lack the volume of fire. It's obviously not as bad as with the RN Polar. Yeah, I really hate that ship, and you're just a little bit better than the Prinz Eugen, but you're by quite a bit the worst of the premium light cruisers when it comes to volume of fire. Quick recap, the Helena has 15 guns with 6-second reload, the Zelensnyakov has 12 guns with 8-second, and the Belfast also has 12 guns with 7.5-second reload, and the Japanese Mikuma has 15 guns with 10-second reload. And when you lose one of the gun turrets, we'll come to this in just a moment, you just lack the rate of fire. So then we have to talk about the odd asymmetrical placement of the rear turrets. You have fantastic firing angles forward if you are looking to the right or starboard side. To the left, it's easy to bring one of the two turrets in a fantastic firing angle to bear, but then the second turret takes forever to get a firing solution to the left. And the thing is, you have the advantage of having the turrets with 360-degree rotation capability, so that's nice as well. You have fast turret rotation as well, which is a big advantage, for example, compared to a Helena. And those guns and the ammunition coming with it are really nice, but you only have 1080 rounds for 9 guns, so you can actually run out of certain ammunition types, and you need different ammunition types. We'll come to this in just a moment. So always try to go to the left so you have better firing angles for the enemy locations or ships, whatever, and try to be very opportunistic. Try to get into ambush positions. You are much more maneuverable than a Prinz Eugen. You turn better. You have with a speed of 60 kilometers per hour, not the fastest, but certainly not the slowest speed. So then let's talk about the armor, and this is where the ship looks really bad, because you only have 50 millimeters of belt armor, and it's not really inclined, and you have no turtle back behind it. The bulkheads are only 70 millimeters thick, and we have a deck plating ranging from 20 millimeters over the machinery and the very rear of the ship to 40 millimeters just above the magazine. But the magazine is also partially above the waterline, and so everything with SAP, with AP, or even with strong base use HE can ammo rack you quite easily, even if you try to angle. But versus HE spam, we have a little bit of a surprise, because ranging from the second rear turret to just behind the front turret, we have a little bit of a surprise, and that is a little bit of a part of a Helena, apparently, because we have an outer shell, an outer layer that prematurely detonates HE shells, and you take significantly less damage from HE spam when getting hit there than you would expect. It ranges from 10 to 12 and 14 millimeter to the deck of 16 millimeter. That is basically a shrapnel protection. It doesn't have the name, it's rolled homogeneous armor, but it works like that. And then there's the conning tower with 100 millimeters that still gets constantly knocked out. So the armor is a bit trolley, but you never should rely on it. And then we come to one funny part, and that is that there is no barbette protection at all. Like, no steel armor around the barbette at all. And the turrets are also very weakly protected, 30 millimeters on the turret faces and 20 millimeters for the rest. So armor protection, not the ship's strength. Then we come to the ammunition, and it's really working out nicely. The HE shell is not really spectacular, aside from the 960 meters per second muzzle velocity. What really hurts the enemy is the base use HE round, at least that's coming from the German name, but in the game it's listed as a SAP BC round. 835 meters per second, so slower than the HE shell, but we have 3.32 kilograms of TNT equivalent bursting charge. That is just a bit more than half what you get from the SAP of the Zelensnyakov, but it still hurts quite a bit. But it also lacks a little bit the penetration, with only 115 millimeters at point blank range and 74 millimeters at 5 kilometers. If you really want to pen something, you obviously go to the AP, which goes up to 960 meters per second muzzle velocity again, and 281 millimeters of penetration at point blank range, and at 5 kilometers 182 millimeters. Those guns are nice, but they have their limitations, and they only have 1.32 kilograms of TNT equivalent. And yet, if you have good aim and the guns behave most of the time with the accuracy, then you can farm the Moffats for days. You still can hurt the Helenas quite a bit, but you don't have the oomph of the Prinz Eugen, but you have more DPM, in return. And for me personally, I like this. By the way, all the Moffat bots, seems like this map isn't really in favor of the bot programs that are infesting naval forces. Just a random thought, by the way. So this ship has tragically bad AA. It's on par with the Mikuma effectively. It has cardboard for armor with a little bit of a troll factor. It doesn't have the DPM for the main guns nor extra speed, but it has the torpedoes, and I have them in brawl mode, so with the 6 kilometer range and 81 kilometers per hour speed, and you still have a fat broadside of 6 of them, but you do not really need them that often. Overall, would I recommend this ship? The answer is, yeah, I personally would love to like it, but honestly, if this would be the Nürnberg, then I really would like it. But it isn't a Nürnberg. Now, why is the Nürnberg better than the Karlsruhe? Well, in terms of gun performance, it has 5-second reload, which would really benefit the DPM quite a bit. And it also has better AA. It doesn't really have better armor or anything, and also has only 6 torpedoes in total. But in most situations, that would be the better offer. So if you have the Nürnberg, put a talisman on this one when there are the sales, and you probably have the best trade. If you already have the Admiral Hipper, yeah, then maybe put a talisman on that. I would, in the current state, not recommend the Admiral Graf Spee, despite the big guns. And yeah, if you have already any of the battleships, then there is a good chance that you just simply would slap a talisman on that one, with the best one still being probably the Scharnhorst. But if you are already there, then why would you ask me for grinding tips? So this ship, I really like it, but I don't think it's worth recommending. It's just too flimsy, it's just too passive in its overall role. It's nice when it works, it's really cool when it works, it's super fun at times when you get into the right position, but those spots are too rare, and you really have to be really good with a lot of hindsight, if you would call it like this, with situation awareness being high, that this is a nice ship, right, or a cool ship, but it's not an extra reliable grinding machine. On the other hand, it could be worse. I mean, you could purchase the Polar. Honestly, it's a cool cruiser, but in all honesty, the TLDR at the end of the video is get the Eugen. That's it. And that's it for me today. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the series of premium cruisers. Let me know in the comment section what you want to see next in terms of ships, and I shall cover it. And as usual, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.